Now after reading the problem, here as you can see we got two sets of numbers. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, then we have 3, 5, 7, 9, so on. Now in this problem, all you have to do is to use number 1, these numbers, plug these numbers to W's, and then make sure you get the numbers 3, 5, 7, 9. So for example here, let's use the first one. You have 5W minus 2. Now for the first one, we're going to use 1, and 5 minus 1 is 5, minus 2 is 3. So we got 3. Yes, we have 3. Now how about if you use this time 2? So 5, and then we're changing 1 to 2, and then copy, and now we have 5. 5 times 2 is 10. Minus 2 is 10, minus 2 is 8. Now the problem is that does not give us 8. Now this is not equal to that, so that means we're not using the first one. Now another way to do it, to the second one, third, and fourth option, another way is to use your calculator, type in y equals, and then 5x minus 2, 2x plus 1, or if you want w plus 2, or 5w plus, or 5x x plus 2, and then 5x plus 2. Now use your calculator and you can easily determine the values of y is having 3, 5, 7, and so on. Okay, so in this problem I let you go ahead and figure out the answer of this one. So try number 2.
Mr. Bester, when you get a chance, would you come to guidance, Mr. Bester?
Thinking about number 2, so let's go ahead and plug it in. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, that's 5. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, that's right. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1, so I can say that the answer is B. Okay, next. Okay, so the question here is, what is the equation of line again? Equation for the equation of line, we need to use y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now the problem here is we need to find the slope if we're solving for the equation. So given 2 points, remember to find the slope. Given 2 points, we have y2 minus y1. So I'll go ahead and use 5 minus negative 1. Remember, minus negative 1 becomes plus. So I'll go ahead and make it plus. And now 7 minus 2. So here we have 6 over 7 minus 2 is 5. That is the slope of the line. So now we have 6 over 5 as the slope of the line. And now we have, we need to find out your x1 and then y1. So I'll go ahead and use this one first. Okay? If you want to use 7 plus 5, we are going to get the same equation here. So here, minus x1 becomes minus 2, and now here minus y, which is minus negative 1. Minus negative 1, I'll make it positive 1. Again, distribute again, y plus 1 equals 6 over 5x, and then minus 12 over 5. Remember, when multiplying fraction and whole number, it'll be 6 in the numerator times the numerator. And then 5, and then plus 1, move that 1 over, becomes minus 1. So here we go, we have y equals 6 over 5x. Again, using your calculator, press negative 12 plus 5 minus 1, and then write your final answer here. Write your answer for negative 12 over 5 divided by 5 minus 2 here, and that will be your final equation of the line, passing points to negative 1 and 7, 5. Okay, next. Now, given the table, here we go again, given the table and given equations, because our calculator is only using x as a variable of the equation, you can change the n's to x's. So you use y equals, and then type in every equation, and you'll be able to figure out the answer there. Okay? So I'm going to skip to this one, pause the video, and then figure this out, because this is super easy. Press y equals, press the y equal button, and then key in an equation, and then after that you're going to press the second, and then the graph. Now, the reason why we are pressing the second, the graph, because on top of the graph is actually the table. So we're actually using that table. That's why I'm pressing the second instead of just going straight to the graph button. Okay, here we go again. We are solving for the equation again. Y minus y1 equals, okay? We are again solving for the equation. Now, for this formula, we need to figure out the equation first. Now, to find the equation, to find the slope of a line passing 2 points, we can use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. But for this one, we only have 1 point, but we have an equation, so we can easily find the slope by using y equals mx plus b. What does that mean? Using that equation, 2x minus 3y equals 12, we can easily put this in this form so we can find the slope. So let's do it. Negative 3y equals, move that 2x over, becomes negative 2x plus 12, and then divide each term by negative 3 because we want to have y alone, and now you have y alone, negative divided by negative is positive, and then 2 over 3x, positive divided by negative, 12 divided by 3 is 4. And now our slope is this one. That is our slope. Now, because we're talking about the equation of a line that is perpendicular, you gotta remember parallel lines have the same slopes. Perpendicular lines, you flip it, 2 over 3, flip it over and make it negative. Okay, so here we're talking about perpendicular, so flip that, it will now become negative 3 over 2, because it's positive, it becomes negative. 2 over 3, flip it over, becomes negative 3 over 2. So the equation that we're going to use is negative 3 over 2. Here we go, so negative 3 over 2. Now, because the line is passing through that point, then we're going to use the x, which is 2, and then we're going to use the y, which is negative 1. So y minus negative 1 is actually just 1. Now we'll go ahead and distribute again. Negative 3 over 2x. Negative times negative is positive. 3 times 2 is 6 over 2, and then y plus 1. Okay? And then move this over, becomes y equals negative 3, becomes negative, this plus 1, when you move that over, it becomes minus 1. Now, what is 6 divided by 2? 3. Minus 1 is 2. And this is now your final equation. This is the equation of the line that is perpendicular to this line. Okay, so go ahead, pause the video, figure that out, and I'm not going to give you the answer. Just figure it out, just be independent this time. Do this on your own this time. Okay? I'll go ahead and move on to the next one. What is the x and y intercept of? Here we go. X intercept here we have the y. Basically, we have the line here. We have the line here that is 2x plus 5x equals 9. If you graph this, the question here is, where is that line going to pass the y-axis and the x-axis? So, for example, we have this. Remember, this is your x and this is your y. So let's say the graph is this. Okay? As you can see, the graph is crossing the x-axis at that point, and the graph is also crossing at y-axis at that point. So that's the question here. The question is, where, in what points will the graph 2x plus 5y equals 9 cross the x-axis and the y-axis? And we can do it super easy. Okay, now, if you want to know your x-intercept for this problem, first you have 2x plus 5y equals 9. What you need to do is to make x equals 0, or basically just get rid of it. Get rid of it. My bad. Okay? Because you're solving for x, basically get rid of the y. And now you have 2x equals 9. Divide both sides by 2, x is equal to 9 over 2, or 4.5. So basically the graph would be, I'll show you the graph later. How about here, the y-intercept? Again, given 2x plus 5y equals 9. If we're solving for the y-intercept, we need to get rid of the 2. A while ago we were solving for x, we got rid of the y, and now we're solving for y. Then we need to just get rid of the x. Now, why are we getting rid of the x? Because the y-intercept should be on the y-axis, then therefore your x will become 0. Or 2 times 0 is just nothing, and now you have just 5y over 9. Divide both sides by 5, y is equal to 9 divided by 5, I think it's 1 point something. 1.8. 9 divided by 5 is, yeah, it's 1.8. 1.8. So that means in the graph, let me erase this part. In the graph, okay, so having this in the graph, 1, 1, 1, 1. They're both positive, so let's start with the x first. X is 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4.5 is in the middle. So that means that is the x-intercept. And then for the y-intercept is 1.8, which is 1.8 closer to 2. That means this is going to be your line. That means your line is passing 4.5 of the x-axis and 1.8 of the y-axis. And we call them the intercepts. X-intercept, and then that's the y-intercept. Now, let's talk about this problem. Let's say I work in a restaurant. Okay? Let's say I work in a restaurant. My pay, let's say salary. Okay. For one day is, let's say I work for like $9.50 per hour, and then I get a tip. Let's say I get a tip like $65. Okay, so basically here I am having an equation here that is 9.50x plus 65. Basically, in this linear equation, it's telling me that, do you remember the y equals mx plus b, that slope-intercept form, it's telling me that this number is your y-intercept, which is actually my tip. And this is my hourly salary. I mean, salary, like rate, hourly rate. So I would say this is my total salary, because that includes the tip. So in a problem like this, the total is already given. The number of hours is already given. I think the problem here is we need to identify the hourly pay and the overtime pay. So that means we need to identify the slope and the y-intercept. So the y-intercept would be in this problem, it will be the overtime, and then hourly rate will be the number, which is the slope, the number beside x. So let's do this. According to the problem, we have to write the equation. Again, to write the equation will be y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now, pause the video. Again, before that, to use this formula, we need to make sure we have the slope. For right now, we don't have the slope, so you can go ahead and pause the video and solve for the slope here. So remember last time, okay, if you want, you can use those two. Okay, and remember the slope is y2 minus y1, so 41.50 minus 20.50 divided over 5 minus 2. Go ahead, find the slope, please. Okay, here we have 21 divided by 3. 21 divided by 3 is 7. So the slope is 7. So that means we can now use 7 and then x minus. Now I'll use the first one for my y1 and then 2 for my x1, and then distribute again. Y minus 20.5 equals 7 times x is 7x, 7 times negative 2 is negative 14, and that minus move over becomes plus 20.5, and now I have y is equal to, now using your calculator, you're going to press negative 14 plus 20.5 equals 6.5 equals 6.5. Now I can say that the hourly salary is, hourly rate is $7, while the overtime pay is $6. Next. Okay, that's about it. So guys, go back to the website and answer the quiz part of it.